Good morning, everyone, to the recess meeting of the Will County Board for January 15, 2015. We will call this meeting to order. If everyone would please stand and remain standing. County Board Member Ray Tumanello will lead us in the pledge and introduce our clergy for this morning. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Larry. Father Richard McGrath, the president of Providence High School in New Lenox. He was also ordained in 1973 and worked at St. Rita High School in Chicago and St. Edward Central High School in Elgin before joining Providence Catholic in New Lenox. He's taught English and theology and coached football and golf. Father McGrath has a master's degree in divinity, English, school administration, and a doctorate from Loyola University. He's the author of several magazine articles. He's also published 4 books. And I can personally tell you, my daughter attends Providence, and he's an absolutely wonderful man. Father McGrath.
Thank you. My prayer will be more brief than the introduction. In the name of God, amen. Lord God Almighty, we ask you for a spirit of wisdom, understanding, kindness, and judgment, that we may faithfully and wisely execute our responsibilities to our county and to our fellow human beings. Let us all carefully work for the good, that all you have given us may be appreciated and extended. Let us improve our county, our cities, our state, and our nation. Let us provide opportunities for all citizens to enrich their lives, to live in harmony, and fulfill the destiny you have given each one of us to be your children. We remember and we ask prayer for all those who have served our nation in uniform and who have served us in any way. We appreciate and we thank you for the veterans who sacrificed so much, and we pray for them and we promise our support to them. We give you thanks for all you have given us. We ask your continued blessing on our great nation. Keep us safe from harm and bring us all to do your will. We ask this in your holy name. Amen. Amen.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Sure. Mayor?
Here.
Brooks?
Yeah.
Howard?
Here.
Ogella? Here. Singer?
Here.
Moran?
Here.
Rice? Here. Harris?
Here.
Trainier? Here. Benefield?
Here.
Fritz? Here. Freitag? Here. Gould?
Here.
Balich?
Here.
Frizzalone?
Here.
Winfrey? Here. Parker?
Here.
Staley Ferry?
Here.
Babbage?
Here.
Wilhelmie?
Here.
Hart?
Here.
Tumanello?
Here.
Weigel?
Here.
Collins?
Here.
Ferry?
Here.
And Eustis.
Here.
Thank you.
26 members present.
26 members present, a quorum has been established. Entertain a motion to place on file the certificate of publication, moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Wilhelmie. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Sure. Mayor?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Ogella?
Yes.
Singer?
Yes.
Moran?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Trainier?
Yes.
Benefield?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yes.
Freitag?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Frizzalone?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Staley Ferry?
Yes.
Babbage?
Yes.
Wilhelmie?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Tumanello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Ferry?
Yes.
And Eustis.
Yeah.
Thank you.
26 affirmative.
26 affirmative, motion has carried. Approval of the minutes of the Will County Board of the recess meeting of December 18th, 2014. Motion by Mr. Wilhelmie, second by Ms. Trainier.
Previous roll call.
Previous roll call by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Freitag. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, the motion has carried. Madam Clerk, will you please acknowledge our elected officials and the media that is present this morning?
Sure. Auditor Duffy Blackburn, Circuit Clerk Pam McGuire, County Clerk Nancy Schultz Booth, our County Executive Larry Walsh, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stuckel, our Sheriff Mike Kelly, State's Attorney James Glasgow, and we also have media. We have Chicago Tribune, Alice Fabry, Farmers Weekly and Bugle, Nick Ryer, Southtown Star, Susan Lafferty. Herald News, we have Lauren Leon Cross, and with WJOL, we have Steve Brandy. Welcome.
Welcome,
Good
everyone.
morning.
Moving on, we have honorary resolutions and proclamations. Our first proclamation is presented by County Board Member Don Gould. Please come forward. Recognizing Mark Joseph Mudera on the Eagle Scout ranking.
Congratulations. Good morning. Gary, congratulations. It's always an honor to recognize our Eagle Scouts, and from time to time in Will County we do this, and we have another standout here this morning, and we're here to honor Mark Joseph Nudera on becoming an Eagle Scout. And it reads, whereas Mark Nudera, a senior at Minooka High School, is a member of Boy Scout Troop 256 Rainbow Council, and whereas Mark is a 17-year-old and has been active in scouting since joining the Tiger Club Scout in 2004, and whereas he has truly established himself as an outstanding scout, having earned 25 merit badges, 12 of which are required to attain Eagle Scout. And whereas Mark has also displayed his leadership abilities through numerous troop positions and is currently Junior Assistant Scoutmaster. And whereas for his Eagle Scout project, Mark worked by mulching and screening campsites at Hamel Woods Dog Park. Whereas Mark, after graduation, will be studying political science. And whereas through much hard work and dedication, Mark Joseph Nudera has soared to the distinction of Eagle Scout. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby recognize and congratulate Mark Joseph Nudera on his achievement of Eagle Scout rank. Be it further resolved that the Court of Honor for Eagle Scout Mark Joseph Nudera was held on November 22nd, 2014 at Hope Lutheran Church in Shorewood. Dated this 15th day of January, Lawrence Walsh, Will County Executive, Nancy Schultz Boots, Will County Clerk, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Balich. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Congratulations.
I'd like to thank my county board members, Mr. Don Gould and Reagan Freitag, and all the other county board. And I'd also like to thank the county executive, Larry Walsh. And I'd like to give Boy Scouts of America a thank you for giving me the opportunity to stand up here.
Next, if we could have County Board members Joe Babbage and Steve Wilhelmy to the podium to present proclamation honoring St. Paul Giants on the 2014 IESA Class 1 State Baseball Championship. For the coach and players that are here,
quite an honor to be introducing a team that has won 4 state championships. These young fellows here live in my backyard. I'm over in Lake Lawn, and I'll probably see them out in the blacktop playing catch occasionally. With us today, we have with the proclamation today. I'm honoring the St. Paul Giants baseball team, 2014 IESA Class 1A state champions. Whereas, in the intent of the Will County Board and the Will County Executive to recognize outstanding achievements of individuals and organizations in Will County, and whereas St. Paul the Apostle School Giants baseball team made its 6th appearance in the Illinois Elementary School Association IESA State Baseball Tournament on October 3rd and October 4th, 2014. And whereas Will County St. Paul the Apostle was the only grade school in Illinois to boost 4 IESA State Baseball Championships in the last decade, also winning the title in 2006, 2007, and 2013. And whereas, under the dedicated leadership of head coach Mike Malone, assistant coaches Pat McGinnis, Vinny DiFilippo, Mike Roselle, and Rigo Vera, who volunteered countless hours to help these players reach their full potential as a championship baseball team. And whereas, after 16 regional tournaments across the state of Illinois, the Giants defeated Jacksonville Our Savior 5-2 in the quarterfinals, and Barton Monroe 1-0 in the semifinals. And whereas the St. Paul Giants defeated Effingham St. Anthony 5-3 to capture the 2014 IESA Class 1 state championships. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive duly recognized St. Paul the Apostles baseball team for capturing back-to-back IESA 1A state baseball championships. Be it further resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive wish these exceptional young men, their families and coaches, and school continued success in the future. Dated this 15th day of January 2015, by Larry Walsh and Nancy Schultz Woods, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbitt, second by Mr. Wilhelmy. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Congratulations.
I'll just be really brief. Mike Malone, I'm the head coach, and just can't say how proud I am of the accomplishment that these young men got to this year, winning a state championship. And St. Paul's is a great school, and they turn out great young men. Which is nice about Will County is they normally go to schools all over the county, and I think that what's reflected in the success of all the high school programs in Will County starts right here at the grade school level with teams like this. So congratulations, guys, and thanks to all the parents and everything you've done throughout the year. So. Oh, sure. Precious. Precious. I'll just start at the end. Reed Olson, Sebastian Patoya, Owen Roselle. It's one of the Siemens. They're twins, so I don't know which one's which, but you got Cameron and Nathan. Vinny DiFilippo, Danny Mangan. You got Dean Procuroni, Dolan Glasgow, Alex Vera. Can't see around the corner there. You guys are back there. Oh, Jack McGinnis, Caden Magetto, Dylan Hensley. We got Max Collin, and we got Christian Hano and Josh Bolick. So you guys, great job this year. Congratulations. You guys are 7th graders. We look forward to seeing you back next year.
Thank you for the honor of receiving this proclamation. My name is Corey Elemento, and I'm the proud principal of St. Paul the Apostle Catholic School. Yes, we are proud of this team. We are proud of their 4 titles, and we are proud of all of the hard work put in by these boys, their families, and their coaches. I've been thinking about what it takes for these boys to be a championship team representing St. Paul the Apostle. These young champions came together in the game of baseball, a game that is constantly moving, but unfolds very slowly, like a story. It progresses pitch by pitch, inning by inning. Being a championship baseball team takes determination, trust, fortitude, patience, and a steady stream of hope, especially when at any point in the game things might look tough. A championship team needs maturity and grace under pressure. These are remarkable qualities for all of us, including our middle school boys. We learn so much through sports, but imagine learning all of these lessons in grade school. These boys have put on the qualities of loyalty and persistence, supporting each other, pushing themselves, and allowing for a new hero in each inning and in each game. I have had the pleasure of watching them this year, on the field and in the building, and I can say that every single one of these young men is a winner. St. Paul says in his letter to the Philippians, I press on to win the prize for which God has called me. Was God calling these boys to win in baseball? How can we possibly know? But we do know that the lessons they've learned through their many accomplishments can help them do great things today, tomorrow, and always. With this kind of work ethic and heart, there's nothing they can't do. As well as being the proud principal at St. Paul the Apostle, I'm also the new principal to St. Paul's. This is my first academic year here in Joliet. I come to Joliet from Bensonville, where I served as principal at another one of our schools in the Diocese of Joliet. So, while I haven't known these boys since they were in our preschool program, I am not at all surprised by their many achievements. They are shining examples of our wonderful community here in Joliet and at St. Paul's. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to acknowledge the accomplishments of the St. Paul Giants. And I thank you for presenting us with this proclamation today. It's a privilege and an honor.
Now, if County Board Member Reagan Freitag would come to the podium to make a presentation of proclamation of honoring Wilmington Wildcats on 2014 Class 3A State Football Championship. Reagan.
I couldn't be more proud to be from Wilmington and honored that I am from Wilmington, the town where these boys go to high school, the Wildcats, and they won their first championship. When I heard, I was so excited, and I know the town of Wilmington is so proud of you guys. Honoring, as I read the proclamation, honoring the Wilmington Wildcats Class 3A State Football Championship. Whereas it is the intent of the Will County Board and the Will County Executive to recognize outstanding achievements of individuals and organizations in Will County. And whereas the Wilmington High School Wildcats won their first Class 3A State Football Championship on November 28, 2014 at the University of Illinois Memorial Stadium in Champaign, Illinois, beating Williamsville 20-17. And whereas the Wildcats were 5-0 in conference play. And whereas the Wildcats capped a 14-0 season with a last-minute field goal in their championship win against Williamsville. And whereas the success earned in this winning season can be attributed to the commitment of head coach Jeff Reams, the outstanding coaching staff, and the Wilmington Wildcats high school football team. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby honor the Wilmington Wildcats for their Class 3A state championship. Be it further resolved that Coach Reams, the coaching staff, and the members of the Wilmington Wildcats football team be commended for this distinguished honor. Dated this 15th day of January 2015. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Freitag, second by Mr. Gould. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Congratulations.
Hello, we would like to thank county board members for allowing us to be here today and present this award. It is a great honor for these kids to win this town's first state championship in school history. We would like to thank Mr. Pleasy and our school administration for allowing and help preparing all of our other things that are out of our control of our hands, of the buses, the athletic director, Joe Barbic, everything else. We'd like to thank the Wilmington community, all supporters of our football program and all of the high school for always being there, being loud, being proud supporters and funding us and having great boosters and everything. And then it comes down to these kids. All of them are seniors. We got quite a bit of seniors who have been through and have seen it all. And they have done great things this year. And it's very proud for them to bring it to Wilmington. I'd like to thank Mr. Jeff Reams, who is having surgery this morning, and that is why he's not allowed to be here on his knee. He wanted to thank you all for allowing him and his team the honor of being here for this award. And he says thank you to all of you. And thank you for this award again. And hope you all have a great day. The first player right here we have is a lineman. His name was Kyle Davis. After that, our linebacker was Joe Mann. Number 1 was Mason Southall, our quarterback. And number 24 is Alex Zalomi, our tight end.
I just wanted to say, Superintendent, on behalf of the Wilmington community and the Wilmington schools, thank you. It's an honor to be here, and to all the county board members and the county executive Walsh, and to our district representatives Donnie and Reagan for having us here today. Thank you.
Next, if County Board members Tom Weigel and Ray Tumanello would please come forward, make a presentation proclaiming and honoring Providence Catholic Celtics on the 2014 Class 7A State Football Championship.
Thank you, Larry. We have today Father Richard McGrath, President of Providence Catholic, Mark Congolese, the head coach, and I believe it's Mark Setner. Luke Setner is the assistant coach. I appreciate you coming out today. We have a proclamation here honoring Providence Catholic Celtic Class 7A State Football Championship. Whereas it is the intent of the Will County Board and Will County Executive to recognize outstanding achievements of individuals and organizations in Will County. And whereas Providence Catholic Celtics won their 10th state championship on November 29th, 2014 at the University of Illinois Memorial Stadium in Champaign, Illinois, beating Cary Grove 31-28 in the Class 7A finals. And whereas the Celtics starting defense allowed only 16 points in 4 playoff games, and whereas the Celtics had a 13-1 record and shared the Chicago Catholic League Blue Conference Championship title, and whereas the success earned in the winning season can be attributed to the commitment of head coach Mark Congolese and the outstanding coaching staff of Providence Catholic High School football team. Now therefore be it resolved that the Will County Board and Will County Executive hereby honor Providence Catholic for their 7A state championship. Be it further resolved that Coach Congolese and coaching staff and members of Providence Catholic football team be commended for this distinguished honor. Dated this 15th day of January 2015, signed by Larry Walsh, County Executive, and attested by Nancy Schultz Boots, County Clerk, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Tumanella. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has been carried. Coach? Thank you again. How over that you were here today.
It's a pleasure to be here today. I thank Mr. Walsh and the Will County Board for having us. It's a great honor and a privilege to be here and to represent Will County and represent Providence Catholic. I've been at Providence for 29 years. I teach biology. I'm also the head track coach besides football. I took over for the legendary Coach Matt Steffner, which I believe many of you know. This is his son Luke Steffner, who's our offensive coordinator. I apologize for our team not being able to be here today. We are having semester exams right now, and obviously that was a little more important. But again, thank you. We know we have a great staff at Providence. It starts at the top. Father McGrath and administration gives us the things that we need to be successful. And if I learned one thing from Matt Steffner, it's surround yourself with good people, good coaches, good teachers, and I believe that's what we have. So again, thank you very much.
Now, next, the County Board member Ken Harris will read from his desk proclamation honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service. Mr. Harris coming up. I didn't get that maybe.
We didn't send the memo, Larry, sorry.
Yeah, okay, Reagan too? Reagan, all right. I didn't get those memos.
Good morning. On August 28, 1963, Martin Luther King delivered his I Have a Dream speech in Washington, D.C. I look back on that time, that was about 6 or so months before I was born. So, just to put things in perspective, to get into that speech, he compared the time then to the previous 100 years as to what progress has been made, especially with the Negro race. And as you know, 100 years prior, that's when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, freeing the slaves. He was a freedom fighter for all. He fought for all people, especially women and disadvantaged. He fought tirelessly. He put his life on the line. He sacrificed his family. And he did it in a non-violent way that at that time not everyone agreed with. He was basically a ray of light in a sea of despair. So with that being said, this is a proclamation recognizing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day of Service. And it reads, whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service Act, enacted in 1994, is the only federal holiday observed as a National Day of Service. A day on, not a day off, and offer an opportunity for Americans to give back to their communities and make an ongoing commitment to service throughout the year And whereas Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service is a way to transfer Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and teaching into community action that helps solve social problems. And whereas this year's Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service will be held on January 19th and calls for Americans from all walks of life to work together to strengthen community, bridge barriers, and move us closer to Dr. King's version of a beloved community. And whereas service projects are being organized by a wide range of local nonprofits, including the Community Service Council of Will County, Inc., National Hookup of Black Women, and the University of St. Francis, Joliet Job Corps, United Way of Will County, Inc., and others. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Will County Board and the Will County Executive do proclaim the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday as a day of service in Will County. Be it further resolved that Will County Board and the Will County Executive encourage residents of Will County to fulfill Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream of serving the community with a day on, not a day off, and give back to the community. Dated 15th day of January 2015, Lawrence M. Walsh, Will County Executive, Nancy Social Foods, Will County Clerk. I so move.
Moved by Mr. Harris, second by Ms. Freitag. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried. You can make it.
Okay, in closing, it was also brought to my attention on January 19th, it will be Reagan's birthday.
No comment from you, Reagan. Okay, moving on. If County Board Member Darren Benefield, please come forward to the podium. And we have the honor of having the Joliet Elks Lodge 296 make a presentation to our Drug Court and Veterans Court. Julie McCabe, Mr. Glasgow.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the Joliet Elks Lodge and their dedication of working with the Will County State's Attorney. I just want to introduce to you Jeff Sturr. Jeff, give you an opportunity to share with you the work that you guys have accomplished with the Juvenile Drug Court Program. Introduce Jeff Sturr.
Executive Walsh, Speaker Musis, Chairman Brooks, Judiciary Chairman Benefield, fellow Elk Joe Babbage, and members of the Will County Board. With me today I have First Vice President Steve Randy and Second Vice President Dan Pellick. I'll tell you, Elk Lodges, they're so much more important than just a building, golf course, or pool. We like to take part in our community. And our places are where our neighbors come together, our families share meals, and our children grow up. And our Elks also invest in our communities through programs that help children grow up healthy and drug-free. And with that in mind, the Benevolent Protective Order of Elks National Drug Awareness Program is the largest volunteer drug awareness program in the United States. The Elks are committed to eliminating the use and abuse of illegal drugs by all members of society and believe that in order to ensure a bright future for our country, it is essential that our children be raised in a drug-free environment. Since 1982, the Elks have developed an effective community-based drug prevention program by partnering with federal agencies including the Drug Enforcement Agency, the Office of National Drug Control Policy, and Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. These partnerships ensure that the Elks Drug Awareness Program addresses the leading drug abuse issues facing communities today. Locally, the Joliet Elks Lodge has partnered with the Will County State's Attorney's Office, and since 2004, we have donated over $10,000 to their drug court programs. As a continuation of our partnership, we are here today and are proud to present a check in the amount of $1,000 to the Will County State's Attorney Jim Glasgow.
The Elks Club steps up every year with these donations. It's fantastic because they certainly have a lot of other charities they can look at. We might have a little bit of an ace in the hole. The Julie McCage stir, this is where the stir comes from. So we got an insider, but seriously, the organization is what it is, why we get this check, and they do great work, compassionate work in the community all year long. I just want to say real quickly about the heroin epidemic. Penn O'Neill just gave the statistics for this year. We had 35 fatal overdoses. That's down from 38 last year and 53 the year before. It's not fantastic, but we're seeing a downward trend now, and that's as a result of what everybody in the county has been doing to get the word out. And I think it's tragic that so many of us know people that have lost a child to a drug overdose. And our drug court has gone from 20% heroin to 80% heroin over the last 6 years. So it's real, it's here, and it affects every one of us, no matter how wealthy we are, how important we are, it's there, and we all need to work together. And we're planning another summit, and we'll be inviting all of you guys, anybody that can make it, would be great, and we'll keep driving that number down. Thank you.
All resolutions from the December 18th, 2014 County Board agenda have been signed by the County Executive. First committee we have is Land Use and Development Committee. Mr. Weigel, Chairman.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to open the public hearing for land use cases, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Collins. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Mayor?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Ogala? Yes. Singer?
Yes.
Moran?
Yes.
Rice? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Trainier? Yes. Benefield?
Yes.
Fritz? Yes. Freitag? Yes. Gould?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Rizalone?
Yes.
Winfrey? Yes. Parker? Yes. Staley Perry? Yes. Babbage?
Yes.
Wilhelming?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Tumanello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Collins? Yes. Ferry?
Yes.
And Eustace.
Yes.
Thank you.
26 affirmative.
26 affirmative. Please be advised, absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once this land use public hearing is closed. Today we have 3 cases to be heard. First case 6208-S, 6216-MS, and case 6217-S. We have one person that has signed in. It's David Bannock. For questions only. Is David here?
Just questions.
Oh, just for questions only? Okay. Is there anyone from the general public that wishes to speak on any of these 3 cases? Anyone from the public wishing to speak? Anyone from the public wishing to speak on these cases? Mr. Weigel.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
By Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Balich. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Ogala? Yes. Singer?
Yes.
Moran?
Yes.
Rice? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Trainier? Yes. Benefield?
Yes.
Fritz? Yes. Freitag? Yes. Gould?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Rizalone?
Yes.
Winfrey? Yes. Parker? Yes. Staley Perry? Yes. Babbage?
Yes.
Wilhelming?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Tumanello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Collins? Yes. Ferry?
Yes.
And Eustace.
Yes.
Thank you.
26 affirmative.
26 affirmative. We are out of public hearing. Mr. Weigel, please continue.
Our first item is case 6208-S, This is a request for a special use permit for boarding of and carrying of animals, and it's with the 4 conditions. In Peatone Township, committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Mayor. Any discussion? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Ferry, second by Mr. Rainier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary motion is carried.
Next case, 6216 MS. It's a request for a special use permit for a truck terminal on Manhattan Road in Joliet Township with 14 conditions. The first motion is for the special use permit. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Winfrey. Any discussion? Previous roll. Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Brooks. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary motion is carried.
Next motion is a map amendment from A1 to I1 for PIN ending in 036. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Hart. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Next motion is for a map amendment from C6 to I1 for PIN ending in 035. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Singer. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Howard. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next motion is for a map amendment from C6 to I1 for the PIN ending in 034. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Wilhelm. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Next case is 6217S. This is for a special use permit for a bar with 4 conditions. This is in New Lenox Township with a Mokina address on Route 6. This bar has been in existence for 20 years, and committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Balich. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Staley Ferry, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
That concludes our business. Our next meeting is February 10th at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Next up is our Finance Committee, Mr. Frizzalone, Chairman.
Good morning, Executive Walsh and board members.
Good morning, Michael.
We have several reports to put on file and 2 resolutions today. The reports consist of the report from the Illinois Department of Revenue showing our sales tax for the month of November to be $1.511859 million, and the RTA tax received is $1.835379 million for a total of $3.347257.36. We also have the monthly treasurer report from November 31st, 2014, the semi-annual treasurer report.
Well, let's move on the first 2.
Can't move them all together?
No.
All right, so we'll make motion on the sales tax report.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Mr. Mayor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried. Okay.
I'd like to move on the monthly report ending November 31st, 2014.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Ms. Hart. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Next report is the semi-annual treasurer report for June 1st, 2014 through November 30th, 2014. I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Mr. Mayor. Any questions? Previous roll by all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
And the last report put on file is the annual treasurer report from December 1st, 2013 through November 2014, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Ms. Collins. And all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
And we have 2 resolutions. First resolution 15-1, appropriating adult redeploy Illinois program grant funds in the state's attorney's drug court budget, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frislow, second by Ms. Rainier. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Howard, second by Mr. Moran. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
And the last resolution is 15-2, designating Republic Bank as a county depository, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Frislow, seconded by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Collins, seconded by Mr. Benefield. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
And our next finance meeting will be February 3rd at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Moving on, Public Works Committee, Transportation Committee, Mr. Gould, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive.
Good morning, Don.
Good morning, fellow board members. First, I have Resolution 15-3, granting a temporary access permit for Enbridge Pipeline 78 project on various county highways, County Board Districts 1 and 6. And I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by Mr. Balich. Any questions? Questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Howard, seconded by Mr. Balich. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-4, confirming award of contract to various contractors by bituminous patching mixture in all county board districts, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by Mr. Singer. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Parker, seconded by Ms. Rainier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-5, confirming award of contract to various contractors for bituminous prime coat in all county board districts, and I move for approval.
By Mr. Gould, seconded by Ms. Collins. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, seconded by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-6, confirming award of contract to various contractors for various aggregates in all county board districts, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Ogalla. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Mayor, second by Mr. Brooks. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-7, confirming award of contract to Hall Signs for sign materials in all county board districts, and I move for approval.
By Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Parker. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Rainier, second by Ms. Staley Berry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-8, confirming award of contract to Hall Signs sheet aluminum sign panel type 1 in all county board districts, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by Mr. Moran. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Babbage. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-9, confirming award of contract to Hall Signs telescopic posts in all county board districts, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by Mr. Babbage. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Wilhelm, seconded by Mr. Howard. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-10, authorizing the adoption of Illinois Department of Transportation County Maintenance Resolution. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by Ms. Rainier. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Collins, seconded by Mr. Frislow. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-11, an ordinance authorizing approval of the establishment of altered speed zone, Zone 510, County Board District 2, Green Garden Township. Move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by Mr. Brooks. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Ferry, seconded by Ms. Winfield. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-12, an ordinance authorizing approval of establishment of altered speed zone, Zone 511, County Board District 2, Green Garden Township, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by Ms. Ogalla. Any questions? Previous roll, Mr. Moyle, seconded by Mr. Moran. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 15-13, an ordinance authorizing approval of the establishment of altered speed zone, Zone 512, County Board Districts 11 and 13, Wheatland Township, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Rainier, seconded by Ms. Parker. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 15-14, an ordinance authorizing approval of the establishment of altered speed zone, Zone 513 through Zone 520, County Board District 12, Frankfurt Township, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Hart. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Daly Fairey, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 15-15, authorizing approval of additional professional services agreement for right-of-way acquisition services with Hampton, Lenzini, and Renwick Incorporated for Bell Road at the intersection of 143rd Street, County Board District 7. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, seconded by Ms. Trainier. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Howard, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 15-16, authorizing the approval of an IDOT county joint agreement for improvements on Bell Road from 159th Street to 151st Street, County Board District 7. I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Balich. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Ms. Trainier. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried.
Resolution 15-17, authorizing approval of professional services agreement with Patrick Engineering for design engineering services Phase 1 for Laraway Road between Cedar Road and US Route 45 in County Board Districts 2 and 12, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Singer. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Moran, second by Mr. Brooks. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 15-18, authorizing the approval of MFT funds for design engineering services by county under Illinois Highway Code on Laraway Road from Cedar Road to US Route 45, County Board Districts 2 and 12, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Tumanella. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Rice, second by Ms. Daly Fairey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-19, authorizing approval of supplemental professional services agreement for design engineering services with HNTB Corporation on Wilmington Peatone Road over South Branch, Fork Creek, County Board District 6. Move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Freitag. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Parker and second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-20, authorizing the approval of MFT funds for supplemental design engineering services by the county under Illinois Highway Code on Wilmington Peatone Road over South Branch, Fork Creek, County Board District 6. And I move for
Moved
approval.
by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Freitag. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Hart, second by Ms. Collins. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-21, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for design engineering with Willett Hoffman and Associates for Green Garden Township Road Districts, County Board Districts 1 and 2, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Ogala. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Howard, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 15-22, authorizing approval of professional services agreement with HR Green Incorporated for Phase 2 Consultant Program Coordinator for Build Will Program, and I move for approval.
Moved by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Parker. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. Winfrey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion contrary, motion's carried.
Our next meeting is February 3rd at 9 o'clock in this room. That concludes my report.
Very fine report, Mr. Gould.
Need a glass of water now.
I'd like to recognize our Chief Judge, Richard Shainstead, is here we are. Judge, thank you very much for being with us today. Appreciate you, time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you, sir.
Moving on to Judicial Committee.
Good morning, Mr.
going to.
Oh, please stand up and say it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Things go the way I hope they will in just one moment, that I need to get to all of my judges to let them know what will be happening effective tomorrow. So I just want to thank everybody for that. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you.
Proceed.
Now we'll get to the committee to talk about that. Judicial Committee, Mr. Benefield, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive.
Good morning, Karen.
Fellow board members. We have one item on the agenda today, and that's ordinance 15-23, establishing the judicial facilities fee and the judicial facilities construction fund. And I so move.
Moved by Mr. Benefield, second by Ms. Freitag.
Previous roll.
Previous roll by Mr. Mayor, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any Winfrey?
One of those.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Oh, you can report to the judges, it's carried unanimously.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Judge.
That concludes our report for today. Our next meeting is held on February 3rd at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Darren. Next, we move on to the Public Health and Safety Committee. Ms. O'Gallagher, Chairperson.
Good morning, County Executive, fellow board members.
Good morning.
Today I have two items on the agenda. First is Resolution 1524, awarding bid for pharmaceutical services at Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. O'Gallagher, second by Mr. Babbage. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Hart, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
My second item is Resolution 1525, renewing contract for therapy services at Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. O'Gallagher, second by Ms. Fritz. Any discussion? Questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Mr. Moran. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
And that concludes my report today. And our first public health and safety meeting is scheduled for February 5th at 9 a.m. Hope to see somebody there. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Next, we move on to Legislative and Policy Committee. Ms. Hart, Chairperson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Really quick, I first want to say that I was able to, down in Springfield the last couple of days, I got to witness your son getting sworn in again, as well with many other legislators that are putting themselves out there into the mercy of our state. It was very productive, and Will County was very well represented. Really quick, just a couple that we have the opposing of the Senate Bill 172, but we know it's signed into law. Now we're just kind of looking in for some information on what the cost is going to be for the county. And Nancy Boots has been looking into this, as well as we're talking with other counties surrounding that are going to end up with the same situation of onto the financial burden of where this is going to, where it's going to go. So we're just kind of waiting to hear back on that. Thank you, Nancy. And then we just had the resolution for the NACO about the federal freight goods movement.
Oh, we got to do one more time.
Make a motion to remove it. Oh,
Ms. Hart,
there, have a motion to remove.
Okay, move to approve resolution 1526. Okay, second.
Remove it. To remove.
Oh, you want to remove it?
Yeah, I just wanted to give information. I do apologize. We need to remove it because they've already,
I'll second it.
had already signed it in the law.
Moved in second.
We're not setting anything down.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried and removed from the agenda. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then we just have the NACO resolution concerning the federal freight goods movement that we have. We're going down for Washington, D.C. next month.
Move to approve resolution 1527.
Yes.
Second. What?
Second.
Move to approve Resolution 1527.
Second.
By Ms. Hart, second by Mr. Frislow. Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Moran, second by Ms. Daly Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
And our next Legislative and Policy Committee meeting is scheduled for February 10th, 9 a.m. Thank you.
Yeah. Next, we go to Capital Improvements Committee. Ms. Freitag, chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. We have Resolution 1528, authorizing the county executive to amend contract with Corrigan Clark dated October 16, 2014, to include professional design services necessary for production of construction documents to renovate the second and third floors of the First Midwest Bank Building. I so move.
Moved by Ms.
Second.
Freitag, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any discussion? Previous roll call by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Wilhelmie. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. There's no other resolutions, but if everyone noticed on their table that a CD of the previous white studies that was, some of the new members requested copies of that, so that's on your desk. As well as I'd like to remind everyone that they're invited to the ribbon cutting ceremony on January 20th. It's going to be at 9 o'clock for the opening of the corner and the recorder deeds office, and I hope to see everyone there. Our next Capital Improvements Committee meeting is scheduled for February 3rd at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Reagan. Question. Mr. Brooks, comment.
Madam Chair, I understand the CD only went to your committee, the Capital Improvement Committee person. They're the only one who have it. Is that right?
We have copies, so we can get them to everyone,
Okay.
but I think they're just distributed to the committee members, so we can get them to everyone. Okay.
I have. Thank you. See, we can't reach across the aisle. We get off the aisle.
Okay, moving on to the next Executive Committee, Mr. Mustis, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive.
Good morning, Jim.
County Board members. My first item today is declaring sheriff's seized vehicles surplus and authorizing disposal. I will so move.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second by Mr. Mayor. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll call by Ms. Parker, second by Ms. Collins. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next, 1530, renewing contract for security guard services at the county office building. I will so move.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second by Mr. Brooks. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Balich. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
1531, renewing contract for telecommunications time and material. And I will so move.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
1532, awarding bid for rural historical structural consultant. I will so move.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second by Mr. DeMello. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Howard, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
1533, authorizing intergovernmental agreement with PACE for the county mobility management project, and I will so move.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second by Ms. Winfield. Any Winfrey, jeez.
Winfield, K.A.
Is that 3 times? Done.
Sorry, Denise. Anyway, any discussion? Previous roll call by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. Rainier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next we have 1534, replacement hire for land use subdivision engineer, and I will so move.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second by Mr. Moran. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Collins, second by Ms. Parker. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
1535, replacement hire for land use department, development ambulance 1, and I will so move.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Freitag, second by Mr. Balch. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
The next executive committee meeting will be February 5th at 10 a.m., and that concludes my report, Mr. Executive.
Thank you, Mr. Mustis. Next committee appointment by the county executive.
I'll move to approve the appointments by the county executive.
Moved by Mr. Mustis, second by Mr. Mayor. Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Wilhelm. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried. And during the agenda, open to public comment. Anyone here wishing to speak to the county board? Public comment. Anyone wishing to speak? Yes, ma'am.
May I?
You may.
My name is Armella Frankowski. I live at 18911 Town Line Road, Mokina, a resident there of approximately 45 years. I come to this meeting and 95%, are you ready? 95% is dealing with money. It worries me that as I read the Southtown paper, approximately 23 people from Frankfurt had to move out, sold their homes. Reasons, I don't know all of them, but some I do. Taxes. Quickly, they're sold, and people have money that's coming in. Well, as I can see it, it seems like our bridges are fixed, our roads are sort of fixed, and we got plenty of banks, 12. I counted. They're opening another. A car repair place opening another. And some are already looking for work. What worries me is that taxes will go down. Oh my goodness, we got almost everything planned, corrected by the good, honest, maybe not wealthy with money, but wealthy with morale and love of their children and love of a good education, not indoctrination. All I could say is Mokina people are blessed, as I am. Well, they say I don't belong, but blessed with talent and know-how. The board makes the best bid, and if you notice, it's out of our town. Oh, sure, they'll go 20% down because they got backing by people that want Mokina. Well, that's money. All I could say is, you're getting good salaries down. You know what? If this comes to pass, you're all going to be affected by it. Just think it through. It is a planned plot. I don't know what else to say. The children, I know I can't bring them up, but they're bad off. You don't see them happy, and I know why. All I can say is think it through, people. You're good people, but you're being used. I don't know how many. But we got a bad, money-hungry, destructive, which is Satanism. I hope he changes. I hope he wakes up, because we do have love in America. but it's being so twisted. Money? I hear they say the almighty dollar. And I thought to myself, oh my God, Arnella, it is the almighty dollar. It's his trees, his cotton. He put the idea, our creator, he put the idea in a man's head how to make the machine. It is the almighty dollar. Well, anyway, please work on the morale of the people. Help them. Don't let the children cry because they have to leave their friends in school because daddy doesn't make enough money. By the time he gets a job, it's so far. Gas money, away from home. Maybe if the town could help townspeople for us to stay like we are. I teasingly say, can't we be a Mayberry? You know Mayberry. Or don't you watch TV? Okay, that's a program. It's Mayberry. You want excitement and fun? We have Chicago. There's other things that you can concentrate on. I know you have to do money too. But my last one is praise Jesus.
Thank you. Armel?
See you next week.
Anyone else from the general public wishes to speak? Next on our agenda, announcements by the Republican Caucus Chair, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Executive, fellow county board members. First, I want to thank everyone for all the outpouring for the loss of my mother-in-law this past Christmas season. It has been a really trying time for our family, and the amount of support that this group does for anybody that's in pain and need is just overwhelming, and it really does help folks in that state of mind and in that state of time within their lives. With that, you know, we get a lot of reflective time, and one of the reflective that we had that helped comfort family was that, you know, we're all born to die, all right? So it's not about when someone passes, it's about what they did with that time in between birth and death. And I think when we had Reagan and Ken get up to the podium today and read Martin Luther King's proclamation, it's those kind of things that people do with their lives that impact us more than anything. And you know, when everybody's heard the you know, I have a dream speech, but the last line of that speech is what really kind of gets me in this whole process, you know, because he didn't do this just for African Americans. He did it for all folks. And when he said that he has a dream that one day, even in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. And I think as we look at this, not just from a race standpoint, but also from a political standpoint, and look at what commonalities we have as citizens, not only of our own communities and our own districts, but of Will County, the state of Illinois, and the United States. I think we have much more in common than we do have in differences. And it's those things that are in common that we will be able to overcome almost any adversity if we learn to work together on those processes. So you can see I've had a lot of reflective time over the holidays. I want to wish everyone a great January 15th, the start of the year of 2015, and Happy New Year.
Well, thank you very much, Chuck, and all our deepest sympathies for your family's loss. So, next we have the Democratic Caucus Chair, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Still morning, too. Let me begin. We had a lot of resolutions and proclamations on this morning. We had some catch-up to do. I certainly want to congratulate Jerry Nadira, his son, and a Boy Scout, congratulate you, as well as all of the other proclamations. Providence certainly holds a place in my heart. I am alumni, in 1969 through 71. Played basketball for Providence. Many of you all weren't even born yet. All right, others won't admit it. But I certainly want to congratulate all of those resolutions. Either Chuck had a lot of time to spend or he looked at my notes over here. But I too, this is Martin Luther King weekend. And it's a very special weekend for many of us. As Chuck said, it doesn't matter race, creed, or color. But it's about what Martin Luther King has done for all of us. And I want to thank the resolution on this morning, Ken and Reagan. And now we have two things to celebrate, Dr. Martin Luther King and Reagan's birthday. But thank you for that resolution because of what it means. There are many activities going on all over Will County, Joliet, there's many activities. I was on the phone sharing with Lon in the office earlier this week. If anybody wanted that information, I gave it to her. There's many activities starting with even tonight at the College of St. Francis, University of St. Francis Joliet. But there are many things going on all weekend. So let me close by saying this. Martin Luther King once said this: darkness cannot drive out darkness. Light can only do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And because of that, we now call this weekend not a day off, but a day on. So in closing, I want to encourage everybody how important this holiday is by doing something by way of volunteering. If you want, I can find chores in my house if you can't think of any. And I am not-for-profit, got one of those too. But the point is, volunteer, do something that Dr. Martin Luther King would be proud of all of us. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Now on to our speaker, Mr. Mustis.
Yeah, one thing about when you speak last is you probably get to repeat some things have been said. I also wanted to talk about Dr. King a little bit. Most of you in this room, of course, has read about Dr. King in history books. A few of us actually were there and we kind of lived it. So I'm going to tell you, as a kid who grew up on the south side of Chicago, where there were a lot of minorities, you know, where I went to school with many minorities, specifically, you know, black kids, Hispanic kids. We just all kind of hung out, you know. We were aware of segregation in the sense that they went to their neighborhood and we went to our neighborhood, but in Chicago, everybody's segregated. The Irish are over by the Irish, the Italians are with the Italians. So you don't always give it that much of a thought. So when the civil rights movement starts, I'm in probably 7th, 8th grade, so I lived this going into what I'll call manhood. I think we grew up a little quicker back then. So I lived this, say, through high school, up through my junior year, say, in college. And I'm going to tell you the effect it had on me. You know, we talk about nonviolent, and that's really what changed, or not when I say changed my attitudes, I don't know if I had an attitude at that point or an opinion, but certainly it changed the way I maybe viewed things. Because it was a non-violent, I mean, because you see the violence that we didn't always see here in the north, but now, of course, you're seeing exactly, some of the southern regions of the country are certainly a lot different. We don't always relate to that, but you start to relate to that a little bit. And because it's a non-violence, you say to yourself, Jesus, what are they doing? You know, beating people because they're going down the street saying, we want to vote, or we want to be able to sit anywhere we want on the bus, or we want to be able to go into any diner, which we didn't, which I didn't experience. I grew up in Chicago. We all went to the same diner. We worked together, even though we had problems too, don't get me wrong. But it was because of the nonviolence stance that it really caught my attention as a young man, that we were brutalizing certain segments of our population and denying them, they're really denying them basic rights. So I became not sympathetic. I supported their efforts. I don't know if I would have I would don't know if that would have occurred if Dr. King didn't insist on nonviolence. Otherwise, it'd just been like, okay, brawling in the streets type of thing. You know? So I want to point out that Dr. King, I think, affected a lot of people. And it wasn't just about minorities, it wasn't just about blacks, and it just wasn't about women. It was about everyone who was disadvantaged, who needed to get an honest shake. That's all he was saying, hey, we just want everybody to be on the same playing field. We know we all don't start out at the same place on the field, but we still want a level. Now I just want to talk about the other thing I learned. We talked about the day of service. I also learned that, you know what, you don't turn your back, you don't ignore when people are being not treated correctly. You don't turn your back when you see somebody in need. You have to speak up and you have to do something. So that's what I learned in the early 1960s, up through probably 1970, and it had an effect on my life. So I would say it's nice to say we have a day of service, but remember, you don't turn your back on people who are in need. You don't turn your back on injustice. You have to stand up, and you're not always going to be in the majority when you do it. So if you can reflect a little bit, and for some of you younger folks, take a look back. You know, maybe pull up some of those marches. I see we got a movie out, South, you know. I understand it's a pretty good movie, pretty historically accurate. Go see the movie. And you learn you just can't turn your back on your fellow citizens. That was kind of lengthy, but I guess I hope I So at any rate, everyone have a happy New Year. If I haven't said Happy New Year to everybody, Happy New Year. Larry, I'm looking forward to you and I having a productive year, and everyone have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your comments. With that, we will stand at recess till next month, Thursday, February 19th, 2015 at 9:30 a.m.